going to head over to the match. We see they have begun. This is turn 1. We got Colin on the left with he's playing Big Base's Garbodor versus Chris's Plasma. He showed me his list earlier. We were talking about evolutions for a long time. Chris is a good friend of mine, and he decided to switch to Plasma at the last minute. So we see
Junipers right off the bat.
Yeah, he's Junipers everything going against 2 Deoxys. Chris Fulop, for those of you who don't know, if you've been playing the game recently, you might not know him, but he's a 2007 national champion. He got second at Worlds in 2004, only losing to Yamato. He tied Ross Cawthon and Jay Hornung's record of getting, or sorry, Jay Hornung's, not Ross Cawthon's record, of getting qualifying for Worlds every year from 2004 to 2011 before he retired from the game. He's played a little bit sporadically here and there, and now he's back. He's 4-0, playing Plasma. From what I saw of his list, it's pretty basic. And Colin Moll on your left, Missouri player, very good. I think he got second at Nats or top 4 at Nats a few years ago. It was before I started playing, but I know he's had some big successes.
Definitely.
Qualified for Worlds last year. Just a great player. That's not lag. That's just like it is lag.
No.
Okay. So we see Thunderous active, attaching Raiden Knuckle looks like attaching the Plasma to the Deoxys. And is that better on the sound, guys? Is there an issue?
Yeah.
All right.
Just continue, dude. Don't worry about it.
So we got Landorus active. Has 3 damage on it. We got 2 Deoxys on the bench. Colin is going to Skyla. Looking through his deck. Both these guys very good players. I'm sure they know each other. They're pretty top players. Do you see what Ace spec that is? I can't.
That looked like Life Dew to me.
No, it wasn't Life Dew.
No?
Well, I don't know what art that
sure?
is. Yeah, it's definitely not Life Dew. Maybe Scoop Up Cyclone.
I hope it's Life Dew.
Colin making
Colin's
some
smart. I don't think it'd be Life Dew.
making some considerations. Looking through his deck. We saw a lot of this play out. The deck Colin's playing, the Big Base Garbodor deck. I'm not sure about Colin's list. I just looked through it a little bit when we were getting some coverage up, but I didn't get a chance to really fully talk about it. But Grant McClellan, one of my good friends, won Vancouver Regionals with it last week, and there's a lot of California. There's like 2 or 3 Big Basics Garbodor in the California top 8 too. So it's a deck that first took over states last year, actually. Tyler Nomura won states with it, defeating me in the top 4. And Dustin Zimmerman, I believe that's like second at 2 states on that. And Colin actually won a stage with it too. Yeah, hello Rex. So it's kind of made a little bit of resurgence lately. You know, against the Plasma deck, like the Garbodor shuts off the Deoxys' ability, so it's like Keldio's ability. So it's just pretty powerful there. And so Colin's gonna play a Mewtwo down on the bench and attach the Float Stone to the Trubbish. If I consider fighting on the Landorus, no, okay, just playing fighting on the Landorus. He's gonna go for a Hammerhead. And Fulop is now Colorless Machining. Gonna put the Plasma right on that Thunderous. It's really cool. I mean, I'm good friends with both these guys, but especially Fulop. I've been friends with him for a couple of years, and it's really nice to see him come back. Hopefully, he can make day 2 and make top 8, and maybe come back into the game at full force. You know. I think a judge knocked into our mic cable. Maybe I can't see what's going on quite yet. Don't want to interrupt the game, but we're trying to get it back. I don't know if hopefully it's up for you guys. Sorry guys, I think we're not figured out. There's just a lot of problems in this venue. It's been me and Chase are joking that it's cursed, but I think, and we're back. So we're back. Sorry about that. Just a little camera issue. And we're gonna. So it looks like Fulop, catcher of the Mewtwo on the bench. Looks like he's. Looks like he's not. Okay. Sorry, we're having a little camera issues now, unfortunately. Okay, so sorry, to get back on track. He Fulop, Raiden Knuckles, 50 to the Mewtwo, and then puts a lightning energy on his Deoxys on the bench. Kind of tilts me how Fulop puts his energy, but hey. We're going to have a laser from Colin, lands on Tails.
Has he always put his energy like that?
I don't know, I haven't really known him all that much when he's been playing, but I sure hope not. Fulop puts a teal sleeve under his Thundurus to mark that it's
what is
poisoned.
And you say he's a veteran, huh?
Yeah.
Like he knows how to play Pokemon?
Yeah. Colin playing a Skyla. Colin, I mean, we have a lot of time left in the match, obviously, you know, we're pretty good, but Colin is playing pretty slowly. I think it's just kind of his style, and definitely seen that work out before, but I really, you know, I'm just constantly worried about these matches ending in a draw here. We understand that the sleeve is a poison marker. I just think it's a stupid poison marker. And
That's basically what we're getting at.
Yeah, I'm close enough with Fulop to know that he won't be offended if I say that, so I'm not overly concerned. So it's going to get a Juniper. Colin's probably just wanting to go off next turn. Probably doesn't really have much in his hand. Can't really see. Lander's in the catcher in his hand, so Colin is holding his hand in a way that lets me see it a little bit better, at least. Which is always nice. I can't see Fulop's at all, unfortunately.
Colin's polite.
Yeah, Colin likes us. And Colin's going to pass the turn. Nothing really going on, unfortunately. And this is, I'm not sure if Fulop has in his hand or has what's been going on, but he has a fine start. He's going to end, so you know, at this point he just knows Colin has the Juniper. So what else are you going to do? No reason to hold it. It does suck though, because you have to consider that, you know, if Colin doesn't have he knows Colin just a Juniper, but he also knows that Colin probably has a bad hand because he's willing to Juniper it. So it's always one of those things where, like, you know, you're not really sure if you want to. You're not really sure if you really want to just give them a new hand and they don't have to Juniper away. Sorry, once again we're having some camera problems. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna check the cable extension when we come back again. If it's not one thing, it's another. And the end. Draw 6 cards for both players, and Fulop plays a Kyurem. And so Fulop's now at 3 Deoxyses and a Kyurem with the Thundurus up front. Slaps the Plasma Energy down on that Kyurem. Can't see anything that's in his hand. Colin has a couple supporters. I see a DCE. I think I see a Verbank as well as a Juniper in his hand. And a Raiden Knuckle comes down from Fulop. He takes his poison damage. Now Colin top decks a Skyla. So I'm really not sure what Colin does here. I've never been a fan of these type of like big basic decks, so I'm not the most experienced with them. I know Colin's a great player. You know, he's played with 3-0, but you can definitely see the look of frustration. He's kind of holding his hair and just kind of trying to think about what he can do. He has. So that, I mean, the Landorus is inherently good against Fulop's Thundurus, but the Mewtwo here is just under a lot of pressure, especially because there's Deoxyses. You know, Fulop was lucky enough to have the first couple turns off to just build up his Deoxyses. Now he has a Kyurem. No energy off that last Raiden Knuckle, just straight up, just straight up damage. But he is definitely ahead. Looks like Colin's considering playing a Skyla, but taking it back. Maybe not. It's gonna play the Skyla. Making some considerations. Like the Verbank, Laser, Juniper in his hand. Float Stone maybe in his hand. Not quite sure. And for those of you interested, we know that Kyle Puka Sukovic is now 3-1.
I think that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, he lost a close one. I didn't get to hear the whole story because shouts to Rick for hooking us up with the internet. We're trying to get that figured out, but so he's still very alive. I think I believe you need to be X and 2 to make day 2. So after this, so he's at 5 more rounds and has to make it. I know Ross is also the 3-0. Ross Cawthorn is
301.
301. So a lot of the good players are very live. I didn't quite hear what Henry was. Dustin is still at the top, as you saw with that little mini interview with Mike. So Skyla fetches a heavy ball, fetches a Garbodor. So I think Colin's just thinking he needs to set up his deck how he's supposed to. Try and get things going. He's not. I mean, he's behind, but he's not he's not out of the game whatsoever. He's still totally in it. Gonna play a Burbank. I assume he's gonna play that laser DCE on the Mewtwo, and knockout on the Thundurus. And Colin draws. I think that was a Garbodor and a Juniper, maybe a Mewtwo and a Juniper, some kind of psychic Pokemon. Can't quite see. Fulop's gonna promote the Kyurem. Both these guys are really impeccable players. We didn't get to pick this feature match, but it's almost like we did. Once again, real quick, while Fulop's making some decisions on the bubbles presented by Top Cut Central. Please go to topcutcentral.com, purchase a playmat if you're liking the stream, sell them bulk, look around on their website, bookmark it for when the live web store is up. Like us on Facebook, it helps everything. Facebook.com/OTBPokemon. Thank you very much. Also, if you don't care about big basics, you don't care about Chris Fulop, don't care about Colin Moll, tune into twitch.tv/OTBEast. Harrison is up on there streaming. I'm not sure what round they're in, but they have the same schedule as us, 9 rounds and then 5 more to borrow.
One interjection. If you don't care about Colin Moll, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to judge you.
Chris Fulop, whatever. Colin, come on.
I'm not trying to judge you, but yeah, I can see that. So Chris is just going to pass, living the Deoxys up. Doesn't want to get the Deoxys KO by Mewtwo. Chris looks pretty unhappy. I think he has 1 card in his hand, it looks like. 2, yeah, and Chris' body language is telling me he's pretty unhappy with everything, where the game's going. Colin lays another Trubbish. Looks like he has enough resources in his hand. And he can... So what Colin can do now, depending on the route he wants to take, is he can go ahead and... I believe he has a laser in his hand, so he can attach to the Mewtwo, and then... Or he can even attach to the Mewtwo, catch that damage Deoxys with the energy, and then X-Ball it. Knock him out.
Like what you're doing.
Yeah, it kind of puts a lot of stock in that Mewtwo, but he has a Landers on the bench with 1 energy. He's not putting everything in that Mewtwo.
Yeah, and he's not behind. He's not.
And the only way Fulop can really respond here, which, mind you, his response has to be, if he doesn't respond, he loses the game, is to...
Why is the Deoxys sideways?
I don't know, actually.
All right, well.
But so there's an X-Ball for knockout. Colin's at 2 prizes. Fulop has 3 cards in hand. Fulop had nothing last turn. He has to have like a spicy one to get out of this one, and Fulop's going to concede.
Dude, Fulop irks me.
Yeah, his play style is just that of a silly boy.
I'm going to go hit him.
Yeah. So once again, real quickly, thank you to everyone here at Fort Wayne. Thank you to AJ Schumacher, the
head judge.
Thank you to Card Leagues LLC for running this event. It's a really well-run event. If you ever find yourself in Indiana or want to go to a Midwest event, I'd recommend them. They're very nice. I'm going to say I have a bias for Northwest events, but if you're past Fargo, go ahead and come here. And it's a well-run event. The space is good. The internet space not so good, but I couldn't control that.
Probably can't get it on the Wi-Fi. That's the only thing.
As long as you're not from Canada like this guy and you have 3G on your phone, you should be good.
Yeah, sucks being poor.
And one really neat thing while we're shuffling up that this event's doing is after this round, if you want to drop, if you're out of the event, you can enter a side tournament for free with your wristband. So they give you a wristband when you pay. And so anyone who entered this tournament can drop after round 5 and play in a side tournament where I believe
what do they get?
I believe the first prize is a box or half a box, and it kind of scales from there. And it's just like, hey,
That's sweet.
Yeah, the prize. I think it's half a box. The prizes aren't the best, but it's like, hey, it's
You're going to be sitting around waiting for your friends.
Right,
like you
right,
might
right.
as well.
It's round 5. Your friends have probably 4 more hours. You might as well play something. So, all right, and we're off. Chris Fulop opting to go first. Of course, starts Kyurem opposing a Landorus CX. Drops a Bengal on the Kyurem. Drops a Deoxys. Drops Blend Energy and Color's Machine. Gets Color's Machine twice. Fulop can, if he can get more Deoxys out, if he has a supporter or something, if he has the Juniper drawing the more Deoxys, he can just win on the first turn here.
God, this is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Just so you all know, we can't see the chat right now. Twitch is being buggy, so if you're trying to say anything, we cannot see that. Trying to focus on the game. And Fulop has the end, so I believe it will take, let's see, so 30 from the original attack, plus the Bengal makes it 60, yeah? Plus the Deoxys is 70. So he needs 2 more Deoxys.
Oh my God. I really kind of hope this happens. Just because of how absurd it is.
I mean, it's Landorus is weak to both Keldeo and Kyurem, so you know what you're getting into. And I think Fulop's type of player. He doesn't have. I think Fulop's type of player who just was slammed it down. He's but I mean, still, he is going to put as we said earlier, 140 damage on the Landorus, which is essentially a knockout. I mean, Colin could have a max potion or something, but in general, he's just putting so much pressure on the Landorus that can get KO'd from a Frost Spear when it's benched now.
Yeah, that's crazy pressure.
Yeah, looks like we have a lot of Colin fans in the chat. Colin's going to play Hair the Fox's Laser, and it's going to fail to keep him asleep. And Fulop there again with the green sleeve as the poison marker. Colin's got a bike, a couple of energy, a DC, a Skyla, and a Lander. So he doesn't really have much. And if he plays another Lander, I mean, he has played another Lander essentially. He has played another Pokemon, but the Landorus will get one shot naturally, just without a Bengal, without any Deoxys. If Fulop has just another water energy for his Kyurem. So it's just like, as we saw last game, we saw you didn't see this on stream, but you'll see it on YouTube. We saw a Victini deck just decimate a Genesect Virizion deck just by attacking weakness, what Pokemon's all about. And it's a similar situation where Colin lays a Landorus, and he's just going to lose to Kyurem. And the worst part is he's losing to a Pokemon that's worth 1 prize even, so he's not even doing a semi-favorable trade. So Colin's Skyling. I imagine he's going to try and get something to get another Pokemon. I'm not sure what exactly he has, but I don't think he really wants to be playing another Landorus, and he obviously can't just pass because he'll just actually lose. So yeah, he gets the Ultra Ball. I imagine he's just going to get rid of the Lander. Yeah, Landorus in the fighting is what he looks like. Then he can attach to something and bike for 3 cards. So he's still behind, but he can put himself in a pretty decent position here. We can get this off. Maybe he's not. Just both fighting, so unconcerned with fighting energy. Nope. All right. This is a classic David Cohen move that, as I said last week on stream, I'm not a big fan of, but I think the Landorus and the fighting makes most sense. He doesn't really care about fighting, but he does care about energy in general, and he does not care about the Landorus pretty much.
Yeah, he is not helpful right now. He's more of a liability.
Yeah, so I think it's a good kind of even trade-off for there. Gets a Mewtwo. I assume he's going to slap the DC on the Mewtwo and then bike for 3 and try and pull himself back into this game. I don't know. Did we see him play Max Potion at all last game? Or
no.
Have you seen a Max Potion? I don't remember seeing him in this deck. I know that some lists have been playing it. I think it's pretty standard, at least in the Northwest, at least. So Colin's considering. Colin, a very careful, deliberate player. Attaches a DC and goes for the bike. He draws a Switch, a Float Stone, and a Skyla. So the interesting thing is he can... Yeah, so he's going to attach the Float Stone, retrieve the Landorus, deal 80 to the Kyurem, but now the bad part is that Landorus is just going to get knocked out. I see a Prism in Fulop's hand, not much else. Keeps it pretty close.
Fulop needs to learn to play for the camera, man.
He's not used to being on film, man. Fulop quit before the days when Pokemon had coverage.
When Fulop played Pokemon, film was used.
Yep. So he's going to Skyla for a switch. And Fulop's just going to punish him for even trying to play that Mewtwo. Just like totally neutralizing everything in Colin's deck. Your Landorus is lose to my Kyurems. Your Mewtwo's lose to my Deoxys, and your Floatstones lose to my Tool Scrappers. So it's in a pretty darn good position. And Colin, okay, he has a Skyla in hand, so he can at least. He's gonna have to use the Skyla to search for something that gets Pokemon, or he could, I guess, concede. There's plenty of time in the round left, so
full half hour, pretty much.
I don't think that's what we're gonna see, but he does have to basically Skyla for an Ultra Ball and then get rid of his other two cards. So I think that's what we're gonna see right now. Maybe Colin plays another searching card or another out, but if it's a heavy ball, okay, so he can. I think with the heavy ball, he can only get the Landorus. And so yeah, he's just forced to get another Landorus. And we're gonna see him play it, and I just I don't know, he's just really not in the best position. But at the very least, we'll have a full 3 games. Need it, and he's just gonna Hammerhead, hit both Pokemon, and just kind of accept, Fulop, you're gonna go to 2 prizes left. Not much I can do. I have a catcher and a switch in my hand. Literally nothing good.
Yeah, it's just stuck.
So and we have a Colorless Machine, just putting the Plasma on the Kyurem. Fulop's just saying, I think I have this game in the bag, but there's no reason to throw it away now. I'm just gonna do everything I can to. Something crazy happens, I'll be well protected.
Which won't happen.
Yeah. Junipering here. And dropping a Deoxys. Well, we really wish we could see Fulop's hand, but it happens. Colin just very clearly displeased with his hand. You can always tell, at least in my experience, when you have the kind of 2-card shuffle that you know what's happening. And Fulop is going to knock out, and Colin draws on that. Should be game. I guess he can catch her and try and stall. But I
know.
I mean, it's only out. Like, he has to at least.
He might as well.
Right? But. Yeah. I just see the way Fulop's playing. I assume that he's doesn't really care, and knockout on the Kyurem. Fulop draws, looking at his options, and if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if he can, he's going to Colorless for 5. So he actually did not have the way to retreat. So I still don't think we're going to really get a game out of this, but Colin's not out of it quite yet.
I'd say this is pretty much over.
Fulop playing with his Deoxys a 1/4 inch away from his deck for no reason.
Fulop with this sweet promo Deoxys. Only 1.
Yeah, his deck looks beautiful. Plasma Ball. And yeah, I mean, getting another.
Oh, he has 2
so he
promos.
has 2 promos and 2. God. Ugh. What a guy. We care about aesthetics a lot here at OTB. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah.
So Colin just really needs to. I mean, there's nothing he can even really draw. Like, draws a DC. He literally just draws a dead card. I believe he drew the laser off of the prize for the Kyurem, so he could always play that and just try and make it so that Fulop can't like float stone away the Deoxys. He has to actually switch. Fulop's also cut himself off of Keldeo-ing in. Yeah, Colin, you can tell Colin's body language is kind of whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, he has survived turns. Like he has given himself several outs. Like he has draw steps. Like he has the ability to. Like he's had, I think, two draw steps and a prize now where he could have, or at least one draw step where he could have just ripped something and at least had a way to stay in the game, you know.
Yeah.
And Fulop has and he's playing to his outs. He's done everything right, and Fulop just hasn't had it. And Colin once again draws nothing. This is where he has to try and laser, and this laser will mean a lot. And
Dude, Colin looks so sad. Look at him.
Yeah. He's kind of laughing now, but it's a sad laugh.
You look, but he's not happy.
So again, we just. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways he can get out of this. He just has to. Colin's, for what it's worth, something in Pokemon that a lot of players don't do is what I like to call playing to your outs, which is where. And the Deoxys wakes up. I assume Fulop has the energy, but maybe not. Colin just keeps buying himself turns. Colin's gonna pull it off.
Hilarious.
I believe.
That's not helpful.
I mean, it just doesn't. It's just the hardest part.
It's another switch.
Yeah, I mean, he's alive at the very least. Fulop. Oh, okay, sweet. Thanks, Fulop.
Yeah, now he shows us his hand.
He's just looking over at me.
So ugly.
God. So the Deoxys barely hanging on. And Fulop hits switch, and there it is. Finally. All right. So the hard part in that game was that even if, like basically any attack by Fulop wins the game, so Colin just also like KOing the Deoxys and even the Deoxys. The Deoxys and the Kyurem doesn't really do anything. But, I mean, Colin played the game well for what he had. And
yeah, it's good to stick it out like that. Like, why not?
Yeah, definitely.
There's plenty of time left. You might as well.
I mean, he also got to learn that, Fulop plays Absol. He's getting information, at least. Like, there are very small edges, especially when you have, 22 minutes left. Like, there are small edges to do stuff like that. And Colin's good enough. Like, these players are among the best in the room. Like, top 5 for sure. And I could easily see both of these players day 2ing and even top 8ing, so we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Players shuffling up. And our beautiful Top Cut Central sleeves you can buy at topcutcentral.com. And looking around the room, I see Mickey Newman is done with his match. He's just not even looking at us. He knows. It's shame. Oh, he lost again.
Shame.
Dude, I just lost to Brizzy and Genesect. Not even a hard.
Immense shame.
And Mike is X and 3.
Yeah.
That's not even a bad matchup.
Oh, so Mike's gonna join us in the booth. He's gonna drop. He keeps talking to us, and we don't care. I wish he would go away.
Dude, I played 415EX, dude. Good game, and I just lost.
So I don't know if you guys can hear, but Mike's telling us a bad beat story. He's gonna go drop. We'll get him in the booth for a couple of rounds here.
Yeah,
he's excited about helping out. If you can learn to turn the audio on, I think you can be a good commentator. For what's worth, we've all done it. No hate to Mike. No disrespect.
I've done it so many times.
And shuffle, 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 shuffle. Players going in. Shuffle, shuffle. So yeah, probably try and trade Mike off in the booth for basically the rest of the weekend. Get him in for a couple more rounds, He's get some experience commentating.
He's not that smart, but he's funny.
And we are off. Colin is going to go first. Opens a Landorus opposing an active Deoxys EX. Colin has 3 fighting energy. It looks like a switch. No, level ball in his hand. And going to attach and level ball. So far things are going pretty right for Colin. I think the big thing is he just needs to avoid those Kyurems. As we said in Game 2, the Kyurems are just a really good counter versus the Landrases and the Deoxyses trade well with the Mewtwo's. It's just very hard for Colin to keep up. I don't think that's entirely indicative of the matchup. I know speaking to the speaking to the Vancouver, British Columbia regional champion, Grant McClellan, he felt okay in his Plasma matchup, and he obviously won the tournament, defeating a lot of Plasmas along the way. But it's just interesting how that kind of just works out. Like, it just shows the raw power of Kyurem and Deoxys and the whole Plasma deck, really. Colin's going to Skyla, looking through his hand, making some considerations. Looks like there's a level wall in front. It looks like he's grabbing the Juniper, though. I think he's putting the cards he's considering in front. Grabs the Juniper. We saw him do this last game. It's a common tactic just to, keep up for next turn. Doesn't give you any direct aggression, but no, he has a Juniper for next turn. So that's one of the huge powers of Skyla. And Collins has a fistful of energy as well as a Burbank and a catcher. So he knows that Fulop doesn't play any other stadiums. He could play like a Frozen City or something, but through 2 games he hasn't seen one. So it's not a big deal to play the Burbank, whatever. Get out of your hands.
It's not going to get bumped. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. And Fulop's going to play second Deoxys. Skyla of his own sideways. Tapped for no reason. Getting a Plasma Energy. Getting a
Why is it tapped?
I don't know. You have to ask Fulop after the game. Maybe we can get the winner of this game in for an interview real quick.
I hope it's not Fulop.
We haven't done any of those today for the because the internet's been so bad. The Plasma, the Colorless Machine getting a Plasma Energy onto the Kyurem. Colin, he knows Colin has the Juniper. Colin doesn't really have much else, but it's fine. Dustin's just playing with our camera.
Oh my god.
Dustin Zimmerman over here.
Dude,
Ladies and
stupid
gentlemen,
kid.
third at Worlds 2013.
Yeah.
Fulop also is just a blend to the Kyurem. It's not on us. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it.
My interview with you later.
And I
Do you want to go get food?
think he's
Why did I
think he's just passing the turn. Sorry, Mike Newman. Okay, so he's gonna catch the Trevor. I think he knows that the Lander is gonna put an awful amount of pressure on him. Catching the Trubbish, and Colin doesn't have a way to get the Garbodor out. He doesn't really have a way to get it. He has a way to get out of the active via the energies in his hand, but he doesn't really have a way to progress.
Why is this discard next to his deck? That's a really, really good question.
Is that people saying in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, the Fulop is going to have a weird setup. I'm sorry, it's just how it's going to be. There's no...
He plays every game.
Yeah, we're sorry, we can't really help it. He also just like blatantly distracted by little kids walking by the booth.
That's weird.
I apologize. Don't worry about that. Just focus on the match.
Just focus on fun.
So Colin's going to DCE up the Trubbish, discard his hand of, I believe, 2 fightings and a catcher, maybe a couple more fightings. Grips a Garbodor, an Ultra Ball, a Juniper, an N, and a couple of other cards. Just deciding, I need to keep my Trubbish alive. I need to get a Garbodor line out. And if I do that, I can sacrifice. I don't want to try and rip a Float Stone or something. I just want to try and just be as consistent as possible with this Landorus beating. Unfortunately, the Landorus can easily get knocked out via that Kyurem. And Colin's going to Ultra Ball away and a Float Stone. I know he has a Garbodor in hand. I assume he's getting a Mewtwo. Yeah, he's going to Mewtwo on the bottom of his deck, and he's going to take it.
Yeah.
Very, very blatantly knew what he was going for there. Again, we have 9 rounds today, as well as 5 tomorrow, and the top 8. I have to double check this with the staff, but I believe it's 7-2 or better. So 21 points or better, I believe, makes the day 2 cutoff. I think it's around 32 players.
Is it the 64?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
sure. But yeah, so you have to do well, make day 2. It's a new system. These are actually the first tournaments that have gone day 2 this year. So it's the first tournaments Pokemon ever, the first regionals Pokemon ever that have had the 2-day Swiss like that. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And the Bangle and the Juniper, and Fulop just has it all. And well, not choosing
He has
not to look at
everything
his,
but good looks.
choosing not to look at his last card for no reason. Oh, his 6th card for no reason. Sure. Let's just say I don't believe he has a colored energy. I didn't see a water or any kind of prism in his hand. He's kind of doing some math at the table here. Both these players, as they're very experienced, just play not super slow, but just pretty deliberately. We're gonna definitely get one of these guys in for an interview. The winner of this game.
Hopefully, Colin.
Yeah, I mean,
On the Bubble has no bias, but hopefully, Colin.
I guess we could also see this game end in a draw. We do have 14 minutes left. I think it'll be fine, but you never know. It's been the recurring theme of this entire year, essentially. And gonna. And sorry about that, a little bit of an interruption from I believe Aaron Wang. So
Aaron Wang's not here.
Explain who that was then, Chase.
I don't know. Is that Harrison?
Ah, yes, Harrison. Perfect. Harrison 11.
Aren't you supposed to be in Philly?
Knockout on the lander. It's 12 going down to 4 prizes. Colin, Juniper, and old Heavy Ball in hand. So again, we've seen Fulop in both games 2 and 3 just kind of put this pressure on Colin, where he's just saying, look, I have this Kyurem, it kills your Landorus. Unfortunately, he's Fulop, unlike last game, has also put a lot of stock into this Kyurem. He didn't have the ideal Plasma, Thunderous start, Raid Knuckle, build up some energy on the bench. So if Colin can find a DCE for the Mewtwo, he can knock out the Kyurem. And obviously, that only takes 1 prize, and the Deoxys can then, if Fulop has an energy, the Deoxys can then revenge kill the Mewtwo, which is part of my Fulop deck so good. As we're talking about, Plasma's very good. But it's at least kind of how Colin can get into this game. He has to play another Landorus there. And we're seeing the resolution of an N. Both players probably not overly concerned with time. And let's see what Colin gets. Juniper, Switch, DCE, Skyla, Fighting, DCE. So the one thing that he can do now is it looks like he's just going on the plan of knocking out the Kyurem with the Mewtwo. It's really the only way he can try and get ahead, but he only takes 1 prize. But with that laser that he just drew, he can try and kind of play a Mewtwo war. For those of you who've been playing since Mewtwo was around, or since Mewtwo was released, you can kind of understand what I mean by that. But versus a Deoxys, so seems like doesn't seem like the best position to get himself in. But Fulop can knock out this Mewtwo down to 2 prizes, and then Colin, if he gets another Mewtwo, as well as the DCE, which he has a DCE and he has a laser, he can knock out that Deoxys, go to 3 prizes, and then Fulop might not have much. He obviously Colin does risk running into another Deoxys to knock out his Mewtwo, but as it stands now, Fulop does not have any energy on the Deoxys, so that could be very much Colin's line. And Colin does have a Skyla that could fetch him up a Mewtwo. So that might be where he wants to be. And then, yeah, I mean, he's wiping all Fulop's energy off the board. Fulop can always hatch a Prism, as well as Color's Machine onto the Deoxys, and revenge kill it that way. But I think Colin, again, just has to try and, I think he knows that he's in a bad position. He knows that this match has not been good for him, but he has to try and do what he can,
Yeah.
And is he just deciding what to discard? Let's see. And looks like he's just looking at the Mewtwo, making sure he has no other outs, and Fulop with not that many cards in hand, so this could be a game yet. Looking around the room, I don't think anyone's quite done with their games yet. Any big players that I can see from my spot. But I'll definitely try and keep you guys up to date. Now that we have a solid internet connection, it's not a source of frustration anymore. We'll be doing a lot more in-between rounds kind of coverage and whatnot. Just to remind you guys, we do have this internet connection for the next day as well, so everything should be fine all through tonight as well as tomorrow and the top 8. And so here's a moment of truth. Fulop promotes his Deoxys. Excuse me. And it's just going to Juniper his hand away. And draw 7. And I don't think he has it.
No. Again, I think he would have slammed it down.
Which is unfortunate. Because this allows Colin to definitely get back in the game. Colin's getting another prize now. I mean, if Fulop's not attaching to either Deoxys, he's in the same position that he was last game. And if Colin, I don't know what's in Colin's hand offhand, but if he can knock out another Mewtwo, he's down to 1 prize. And he's just saying again, Fulop, you have to make a move, have to try and do something. And Fulop is really looking, even if it's clear he cannot knock out the Deoxys this turn. Sorry, the Mewtwo this turn. But if he can get something, a Color's Machine on it, or Color's Machine on the Kyurem, even just something to try and be a threat. He can actually, the Color's Machines. Yeah, that also won't work. So this is actually turned out to be a good series of games. We are getting down to the wire, but it doesn't seem like this game is going to last more than a few more turns. So we should just be totally fine. A Bangle on the Kyurem happens. Fulop shuffling his hand. I assume he's going to pass. He does. Colin has a bunch of supporters in hand. Colin again, not in the best position. If Fulop just has Energy Color's Machine, he does not have Energy Color's Machine, but if he happens to be able to get it next turn, or Fulop's now threatening a Kyurem on that Landorus. And remember, Fulop only has 2 more prizes left. If Colin is able to take a prize here, he'll still need, or take 2 prizes here off of Deoxys, he'll still need a way to get that last prize. So Colin's gonna look through Fulop's discard pile, double check some things. Excuse me, developed a little bit of a cough. OTB East is back. Harrison's back online. I'm not sure what round they're in, but we're gonna go to a break pretty soon after this match. We'll have a little interview, and then I probably still have plenty of time to check out that match at twitch.tv/OTBEast. Another important thing is to just subscribe to all these channels and also subscribe to our main channel at twitch.tv/onthebubble. That's where we do our weekly shows, and that's where we're doing a lot more stuff that's not streaming. We'll be doing some PTGO games, everything like that. It's like our main
just all the
channel.
random stuff.
Yeah, our main channel to subscribe to. These are just branded this way because we want to do multiples at a time, and hopefully we can do 3 at a time and 2 at a time, and hopefully we can stream everything there is. Colin's gonna hit a Juniper, and
oh, that green sleeve again.
Oh, the poison sleeve. There's a DCD he needs to knock out. Nope, taking it back. Taking it back. Rescue Scarf, DCE, switch Mewtwo in Colin's hand, I believe. Looking through his discard pile again. Colin just being very careful. It's kind of a odd position, as we said. Colin has a chance to go ahead, but at any time, Fulop's deck is very exposed to the Plasma deck, and things like Color's Machine and Silver Bangles and Deoxys allow the Plasma deck to get huge comebacks. And at this point, he only has 2 prizes left, so at any time, he's just dead to it. Attaches Rescue Scarf to the Landorus. Sam Chen, one of my good friends, is playing Ben Potter over at OTB East. So you should go check that out. Twitch.tv/OTB East. After this game, of course, they got playing time. Sam's playing Deoxys, and I believe Fan was playing Plasma. Sorry, Sam plays Blastoise.
Ben's playing Darkrai.
No, I don't know anything.
I think they're playing Pokemon.
I think they're playing. Yeah, probably they're definitely playing cards. I can tell you that. And Fulop colors machining, but
why is Colin running Rescue Scarf? I have a theory.
Because he's fashionable.
Yeah, because it's fabulous.
Right.
It's so fashionable. That Landorus is now handsome.
Mhm.
So, and Chris Fulop will never have that.
And Chris Fulop counting his deck. Friend of the show, Chris Fulop. We love him.
No.
I
Rick
love
Murray.
him. I love him. Taking some time. I'm not sure what he has in his hand. He needs a lot. I mean, he can reasonably assume this Kyurem is going to die to the Mewtwo. He only needs 1 energy to do it. He's Colorless Machine, but he has not. I believe he is not attached this turn, right? Colorless Machine.
Yeah, I think so.
So if he has catchers left, he can get like Prism or Water, and then catcher the Landorus for game. But I assume it's a little more complicated. He has a Scramble Switch. Okay, so. And he's going to bring up. If he hits a colored energy here, that'll be game. And
I didn't see
misses.
one on that little flip.
Fulop misses. Okay, so and now he's just put himself in a position where.
Dude, I bet he looks mad. I can't see him.
I can't see him. There's a bunch of people in the way, but if he passes, he just loses.
Yeah, he just put himself up there to die.
No gamble, no future, Chase.
Yeah, I guess. You can't try that though. Try to retreat out of it, but it just sucks.
I mean, I don't disagree with the play for what it's worth. Like I assume he had a reasonable number of outs. He just
by all means he should have hit it, but
yeah. Cards. It's the heart of the cards, you know, Chase.
Maybe that's why he's so bad at
Chris Fulop, top 64 GP, Seattle Tacoma. Don't think he's bad at Magic, Mike. Out of 1,000 people.
top 54 out of 1,000 people in Nationals, you don't hear me fucking talking about it.
oh wait, yes we do every week,
every single day. Sorry guys, Mike Newman's interrupting the stream. We have to get on focus. This is a very intense match. And Mike Newman can't take it.
Dude, Mike, you're getting fat again.
He's too focused
stop eating
on
meat.
fun.
Dude, you're becoming fat, Mike.
And
not the punk singer Fat Mike. He's cool.
Stop talking to Mike. Chris Fulop switching into a Thunderous. And taking a look at Colin's discard pile again. Luckily, +3 turns exist, or these guys would be going to time. They've taken quite a bit, shuffling and looking through his discard piles. Tool scrappering. And passes the turn to Colin, and Colin has a Skyla, getting the catcher, I assume, I don't know. Yeah, he has one left, and that's the game, that's the match. Colin Moll advances to 5-0 at Fort Wayne for the Regional Championship.
Now we don't have to interview Fulop.
I'm going to go see if he has...
Great news.
I'm going to go see if he wants to do an interview real quick.
Okay, I'll go get him.
Mike's doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to get
Mike, okay, well, I'm here alone.